Alright everyone, Season 14 is upon us, and with it there's tons of changes coming to the Sandbox, including a number of perks getting a refresh. One of these perk changes is going to give the community a chance to have a long requested feature since Beyond Light launch, and that's Stasis Weapons. For some strange reason, Beyond Light shipped without Stasis being added as a new weapon elemental damage type, but fortunately Season 14 is going to give us a taste of the darkness. So if you want to get ahead of the curve and be ready to wield the darkness as soon as possible, then you're in the right place, as we go over 5 weapons you need to get right now that will have the ability to be Stasis energy weapons. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, we're super close to 205,000 subs, help us get to 32 likes today, and finally, let's get into it. The community has been calling for Stasis weapons for a long time. Beyond Light launched with only one so-called Stasis weapon, with the Salvation's Grip Heavy Grenade Launcher. Although it is a Stasis weapon, it's more of an extension of your grenade and freezing subclass abilities, and is rather lackluster as an actual weapon to destroy enemies. Fortunately, Bungie have acknowledged this and have stated that in Season 15 they will be introducing a whole suite of Stasis energy and power weapons. Now it's unlikely that outside of any future Stasis exotics that these legendary versions will cause any freezing or slowing, but it's a cool addition to the game and will work for any modifiers where Stasis damage is increased or Stasis shielded enemies. Mantle of Battle Harmony Warlocks will be rejoicing too. But that was expected for Season 15, which is months away. However, Bungie dropped a bombshell and stated that beginning in Season 14, the Osmosis Perk will now switch your kinetic weapon to a Stasis damage type. Osmosis is a neat perk to be honest, and can be useful for endgame content where all elemental damage types are required, especially when the match game modifier is active. By using your grenade ability, you can change your weapon's damage type to match that of your subclass. It used to be just light subclasses, but in Season 14 you can now use a Stasis grenade to make it a Stasis weapon too. Bungie have created a new visual effect for Stasis weapons too, much like how Arc, Void and Solar weapons appear. Now unfortunately, there is only a super limited pool of weapons currently available that can roll with the Osmosis perk, and they all have a varying degree of difficulty to farm for, from being specifically targeted to total RNG. So let's now go through 5 weapons you should be hunting down, and we're starting with what could become the most popular with the Dire Promise. You're probably going to see a lot more of this 140 RPM hand cannon, as 120s are getting a slight range nerf, but it is one of only 2 hand cannons currently obtainable that can roll with the Osmosis perk in the final column, making it even more unique and sought after. Now there's a few ways you can go about obtaining this one, but it's a lot, and I mean a lot, of luck involved. It drops from the world loot pool, meaning any legendary, prime or unfocused Umbral engram, but you can also get it from rank up packages from all of the good tower vendors and some bad ones too. Crucible and Gambit have the new system in place, but for the Vanguard and Gunsmith you can still turn in tokens and materials respectively to try your luck. I literally used all of my 12,000 Gunsmith materials and half of my 6,000 Vanguard tokens to obtain just one Osmosis Dire Promise. Luckily though, it wasn't a total waste because I did get multiple other weapons that have Osmosis too doing this. But with regards to the Dire Promise, I wanted one specific role, and that was Overflow. Overflow will double your magazine size when you collect a green energy weapon ammo brick, and so you've got a great ad clearing Stasis hand cannon with this role. Honestly though, Osmosis is purely the perk we are chasing, so anything is a win to be honest. Once again we have another weapon subject to the RNG of the world loot pool, and that's the 7th Seraph Officer Revolver. This 188 RPM precision frame hand cannon isn't personally one of my favourites, but it does have the added bonus of being able to produce Warmine cells, and so is ideal for PvE activities. Threat Detector and Ambitious Assassin are great perk combinations on the Revolver to pair with Osmosis too. Obviously you can chuck on any number of Warmine cell mods to make this a really strong Stasis build weapon, with only 5 final blows from it giving you the ability to create them. If you enjoy any of my PvE builds, then this one should be on your list. Moving on, we're going to cover 2 special weapons next. Both of these are actually super strong in terms of damage output, and one, if not both, are already likely to be within your loadouts on a regular basis to be honest. Succession from the Deep Stone Crypt raid is the only current sniper rifle that can roll with the Osmosis perk. It drops from the second encounter in the raid after the Atrax boss fight, and is arguably top dog for damage output with the right rolls. Osmosis though will take you away from the heavy hitting boss melting perks of Vorpal or Recombination, but depending on how Stasis is built into the future encounters, it could become just as valuable. Fortunately, you can still combine it with perks like Reconstruction, which will double your magazine size and auto reload it over a period of time. In a Battle Harmony build using the Absorption Cells buff along with Recombination, you will do more damage output than a Vorpal weapon version, as it's a 20% buff instead of a 15% buff, and this counts against all enemies, not just bosses or vehicles. Plus, if it stacks with the Whisper of Hedron's Fragment 2, it will hands down be god tier for DPS. This is definitely one to keep an eye on. If you've got any role of Succession though, you can try and farm it from the hidden secret chests in the raid and hope you get lucky. Otherwise, you can simply use your Spoils of Conquest in the raid chest cache after beating Taniks to obtain as many as you can purchase, costing only 20 spoils per roll. It's easily one of the most efficient Osmosis weapons to farm for, as even if you haven't run the raid, there are many players willing to Sherpa players through it, with it being possibly the most accessible raid to date. The most farmable Osmosis weapon though is a Blasphemer. This was recently reprised after being axed in year 4 by the now infamous Sunsetting, but this precision frame slug shotgun is back and is a beast. You can obtain this by beating the final boss of the Altars of Sorrow public event in Sorrow's Harbour on the moon. It's one of 3 rotating weapons which alternate daily at reset. I'll leave a link in the description to the Ever Handy Today in Destiny website, which will tell you which weapon is available on any given day. It has a really strong perk pool regardless, and is in a god tier archetype for boss DPS 2, allowing for the popular double slug shotgun loadout. However, if you're looking for ideal perks to pair with an Osmosis roll, 4th times the charm is great for extending your mag size by returning ammo on precision hits, or even surplus or dual loader for faster reload speeds. It'll be a great stasis weapon going forwards to be honest, and definitely one I think you should be targeting. Escape Velocity is next up, and again we're back to the RNG of the world loot pool to obtain this one. This is a workhorse of an SMG though, and I had an overflow surrounded roll I used for the longest time until recently. With Osmosis though, I can see this one becoming a really popular weapon to use with Stasis due to the consistent output and sustained ad clear you can have with it, making it perfect for builds using Mantle of Battle Harmony. There are a few other weapons that have or do come with Osmosis, which are either unobtainable now or even sunset, including the Iron Banner Scout Rifle Guiding Sight or the iconic Breachlight Sidearm. I'm excited to see if any of the new or reissued weapons in Season 14 will roll with Osmosis, including the returning Vault of Glass weapons, and even further down the line I'm even more hyped for the start of the brand new set of weapons with Stasis as an elemental damage type outright. Let me know below if you're looking forward to Stasis becoming the damage type for weapons, and if you'd like to see it impact gameplay just like the Stasis subclasses do. I've got tons of great build ideas already set up for this huge change, so if you want to see more and are new here, click the subscribe button to stay up to date as we steamroll into next season. Also, help us hit the goal of 32 likes today. That's it for this one though, so on that, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.